those were the things that I really liked. All right, now let's get into the offensive line play. I think for us to be successful this year as a team, one thing we got to have is a very confident Taylen Green. He's got to feel comfortable in the pocket. All right. And I think we've seen stuff on tape where we understand why he's probably not sometimes.
Hmm.
And
Definitely.
then there's sometimes on tape when he is looking comfortable in the pocket, you start seeing plays like this. This is a 2nd and 13. You can see a night. Well, first of all, I can't talk. I was shocked that Andrew Armstrong didn't get drafted. I don't know
Insane.
what is going on,
Insane.
right? But right here, they have a little stun up front. O lineman picks this up. Beautiful. Nice little pocket. Taylen's able to step into a throw. And then once again, Armstrong, he's just unreal. Another play right here. O line does a great job, gives Taylen a pocket. This is against LSU. He's able to look down the field, step into a throw dimes on the sideline. And I wanted to stop this right here because sometimes people are back and forth with Taylen Green. This throw, him fading to his left, look at this throw right here. I mean, this is big league across the body, fading to your left. Where else do you put the
Mm,
ball? There's nowhere else you can
mm.
put it to get that catch. And so you talk about if you give this guy time and confidence, there really is no telling how well he can do. I'm going to keep it rolling, just showing a whole bunch of times O linemen did their part. You're going to see there's going to be a nice little delayed blitz here. You do a great job coming off that block, picking up the blitz. That was a little late. Gives Taylen a great pocket. 2nd and 20. Once again, Andrew Armstrong gets into a manageable 3rd down. I don't know what this BS was.
I don't know what it is either.
I don't know, like in a defensive coordinator meeting when they put this on tape, like who in there didn't step up and say, this probably isn't the best idea. When you saw this formation for the first time, I mean, are y'all thinking, are they trying to give us all the time in the world? What are we doing?
You know what? Some of these things that you see out there, we got out there and we were like, man, whoever comes to us, we're gonna block them. And I don't know how long it's gonna take them, but let's just protect our tails off because I don't know what the heck this is. That was not on the scouting report.
No, that is I put that in the category of trash. I don't know what their defensive coordinator was thinking on that one. But yeah, but still picks it up. Taylen comfortable in the pocket. 3rd and 6. Get it to your boy Armstrong. Convert on 3rd down. And then this is another one too. Another great pickup. Taylen's able to step into the pocket. Now Blackstock got to get a little better on that little guard position. Sometimes we struggle with his footwork back in the day, but even on this one, Taylen, confident, throws a dime. Now, I think this was a missed call. I mean,
Man,
dude clearly launched. Poor little Broden. This, in my opinion, I'm not one trying to make excuses. I think the officials missed this one. I mean,
yeah.
we saw the replays. I was shocked that they picked this flag up. And so I only bring up this play to also bring up the other play. This is a number 8 ranked LSU. Then you get another one right here. Beautiful pocket. Taylen steps up, delivers a nice one. And then once again, what are we doing? Didn't get the call on a pass interference. Those just killed it. And then going on to the LSU game, we all know the little batted up ball that they intercepted. But y'all are in this game, and this
Yeah.
is the 8th ranked team in the country. The same thing with Texas. The same thing with so many other teams this year. Y'all were right there. Uh, that has to give a lot of people some encouragement when watching the tape of saying this Arkansas team was probably a little bit better than the record showed last year.
No, 1000%. I think you hit it on the nose. And like you said, we just there was times in games where we just didn't give Taylen enough time to make the plays that he can make and, be the player he can be. Because when we give him time, that kid, that he's one of the best players in the nation. And so it's up to the offensive line this year to just give him a little bit extra time because there's wide open people in this offense. And once we give him that time, you're going to see the show that he puts on this year.
Okay. I mean, you saw a little glimpse of what it looks like when you give him time and he's confident and he's delivering. Now I'm going to show some clips. You know me. I like to show good and I like to be real at the same time. Take a look at a couple of these clips right here. This is some of the ones. And so you get into a situation. Now, everybody looks at this play, right? 4th and 3. And then you got Mr. Magic Man out here, right? Takes it to the house. Place goes crazy. This is where I get in my weird mindset. Okay. So let's go ahead and roll this back real quick. And I think this play, even though it turned out, now I don't think we're going to play Law Tech teams every week. You're going to come
No.
across some dogs. And this probably won't be the case a lot of the time. But when you get right here, clean pocket, Taylen has no reason to pull this ball down and run. Zero reason. And
Nah.
look at this. Look at the options. You got crossing routes from Satania, and you got one coming from Armstrong. Both got their guys beat, and he's looking right at them. This is kind of my biggest thing with him is this is where trust, you and your unit, y'all come in
Mhm.
right here. Because earlier in this game, there's a few times that pressure did come through on things that should have been easily picked up, but now he's not trusting it.
Yep.
And so, yes, we score a touchdown, great, but like I said, this ain't LSU, this ain't Bama, that ain't Georgia out there. And then, you miss up on an opportunity, even though he has the pocket, no reason to scramble, he comes out. And so sometimes that's when I think that you get in situations when you have lack of confidence. Sometimes you're able to do good, but most of the time it doesn't turn out that way. Another situation right here, too, of him leaving the pocket when he doesn't need to. We all know how the Ole Miss game was going, right? He had a great opportunity. Look at this pocket. Beautiful. All right. 3rd and 4. Armstrong, great slant route. No reason not to throw this ball, and for sure no reason to run. But I think he just has a little PTSD sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah. We
And
broke that
so,
trust early with them.
yeah, and
And
this is where it gets difficult too. You as an offensive lineman, how stressful is it when y'all have a great pocket, you block the guy where you need to, and then a quarterback runs outside that pocket? There goes that flag.
it's the
That's
worst
tough.
feeling.
Yeah. And so, like I said, once we figure out these little things and have these trust things, you don't get a holding call right here. I mean, look at that pocket. You couldn't ask for anything more. But he gets out, then you get the holding call.
Mm.
Those are just products of trust, and I think that's in a year one system with Coach Petrino. First of all, it's extremely complex. I don't care who you are. Trying to learn the ins and outs of that offense is insane. It's hard to build that trust, and I think we're looking at an example right here of how the trust will end up hurting the team. And we'll take another one. Look at this against Texas, number 3 team in the country, playoff team. Beautiful pocket, And so I think sometimes the O-line doesn't get enough credit like they should have last year, because I think if you're an offensive lineman, most times they talk about you is when you're doing something bad.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of the credit when it's due. This one right here, once again, no reason to leave, but you get into that PTSD Taylen sometimes, and then we get a holding call right here. And so in these situations, what have y'all been doing in the offseason to kind of work on these things and to be able to help build Taylen's trust in y'all? Obviously, it's hard to reenact live games, but where does it start?
I think it all starts in what we're doing after. We have OTAs that we're doing right now. And even after our workouts, we're going in there and we're getting full group indies. And, Talen's getting his throws in with his wide receivers, but he gets to see, the offensive line is working. They're trying to get better. We're trying to improve our craft and show them that, we're going to protect them as much as we can this year.
Yeah, and that's just part of it. And like I said, I don't think people give y'all enough slack. They should look at the Razorback team when Coach Petrino first came and I was there. It was a hard watch, very hard watch, because we're thinking. You know how hard it is to execute
Yeah.
at a high level in the SEC when you're thinking all the time? It's almost impossible. It makes you one step slower, and you can't afford that in this league. All right, so we saw Taylen escape the pocket when he didn't need to. All right, we saw him stay in the pocket and deliver. So where does this mistrust come from? I'm going to go through a few plays, and I would love for you to walk me through these and figure out, you know, what maybe some people were thinking right here. I think it's as simple as they're just overthinking and it's making them play slow, but you may be able to give me some insight that I don't know yet. This is going to be the sack fumble for a touchdown against Ole Miss. And it looks to be, in my opinion, a slide protection. And I think Marion Harris sometimes struggled with trusting everyone else on the offensive line. The O-line, all 5 guys have to be on the same page to make this thing work. You got your guy in this slide protection. He doesn't come. That's fine. Then you got all these other guys responsible for sliding, and Marion Harris, who is out in yellow, he pretty much has anything that comes on the outside. But you're going to see from a different clip, pressure comes on the edge, and you can kind of see him hesitate a little bit. Why did this pop up so much on tape this year? Because I felt like we struggled with it a lot. You see him right here kind of jump
Mhm.
down. Um, when he has his right guard coming out to him. What do you think the learning curve was there?
Yeah, so in this clip, it was honestly just as simple as the center calling the wrong ID. We had actually ID'd the middle guy right in the middle, and we were basically saying we got the forward down in the middle guy.
Got you.
Obviously, we should have looked. I mean, I think he was trying to communicate that, the safety was capped. There was 3-over-3, and, we got to get out. And I mean, in the SEC, everything happens like that. And I don't think he got it. That kind of led to the indecision and, obviously this play happening.
Yeah, I like it too. We can talk about our center because he's gone. All right, he's on the chopping block, baby. We can talk about him all day. All right. So and so you get this play right here. I'm curious. Anybody at home? Do y'all know the rules in college football? If a player steps out and they're the first player to touch the ball, is the ball not technically dead at that point? Am I making that up? Should this have been a touchback instead of a recovery for a touchdown? I don't know. I don't know the rules. I feel like I should know the rules. Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds right.
It does sound right. He's the first player to touch the ball after being out of bounds. I don't know. We got to talk about it. I like this too right here. Yeah, give me that. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at another play right here. Kind of the same thing that I saw pop up a lot. I think, Blackstock, as the season went on, he started to get better. But I think, once again, this is a thinking thing. This seems like a fairly easy slide protection. You got the back who has that backer up right next to you, responsible for that. And then the rest of these guys are sliding protection. But if you look at Blackstock right here, kind of slow with his feet, hesitates a little bit. I would like for him to get there as soon as possible, knowing slide protection and where everybody is. And really, you can't really overdo this. And kind of slow to the point right here. Are these things, too, you think in a year or two we'll be able to get to a little bit quicker?
Definitely. Like you said, it's just a lot of just overthinking and, just not being able to play as fast as you possibly can. And Blackstock's been working his tail off, man.
Yeah.
I mean, from last year to this year, it's night and day. And just the way he comes into work, it's been really special to watch because, I think he's kind of heard everything on the outside and, he's kind of channeled that for the better good.
Nice. That's always promising, very promising to hear. All right, let's keep the clip rolling. You can see right here, Taylen just kind of looking, where do I go? Where do I go? So these are those type of plays that kind of put doubts in quarterback mind. And another thing I wanted to ask about is I saw kind of a theme of struggling with, I guess, identifying what's coming, maybe identifying the point, especially when they brought people up in the A gaps. I saw that quite often. There was, you could tell the wheels were just churning, like who has who has who. You can see right, Ole Miss did this quite a few times, and I think they did this because other teams put it on tape. Let's put guys in the A gaps and make them pick, make sure they are on the same page. But you can see right here, Chris Paul, former Razorback, does a little stunt where he acts like he's coming, he backs out. Guy comes through the A gap, goes right past our center. And then you got, if you rewind it just a little bit more, even on this edge, Amarian Harris kind of in that category too. Who do I go for? I get you can't pick both. Pick one and stick to it. Make the quarterback just miss one. And that's what he end up doing right there. And then if you keep on going, once again, they did it again, put guys into the A gap because they know Arkansas struggling with this. And then this time, Chris Paul, if he wanted to, he could have just ran straight for the quarterback. Center goes to the right, guard goes to the left. It looks like you are looking down as if y'all are letting the guy on the edge go, maybe reading hot off of him. That's what it looks like to me. And then if that guy comes, the quarterback just needs to know he's the furthest man away. That's where your danger's coming from. So get the ball out quick or throw it hot. One of the two. But you can see a little miscommunication right here. Ends up being a pick play. Didn't even really have to. What's going on right here? Because you can see, once again, based off your eyes, you're leaving the outside rusher alone, right?
Yep.
Was that right, or am I wrong?
Yeah, that's the right move. It's a 5-down protection. We're squeezing that linebacker right now, and I think a lot of our issues last year was just coming down to trust. I think we'd go into games and we weren't fully believing in the game plan and just trusting each other as players and as an offensive line. That's the last thing you need.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be a cohesive mind, and I'm going to just keep saying this, Fernando, as a theme. It takes time. to do
It
that.
does.
It takes time to
Definitely.
do that and experience. And it takes tape like this. You got to watch this tape, learn from it.
Oh, yeah.
Because right here, you would love Blackstock once again, squeezed down, understanding. You got Chris Paul, and like you can see right here, he's doing a pick play. He could have just ran straight to the quarterback. You know what I mean? But once again, learning tape, you hate to see it, but and then it even popped up in the Auburn game, and this is where we win this game. And Taylen, he was magic man on this, but you can see Blackstock. Who is that at right guard? That is
Josh Braun.
okay. He's gone now too.
Yeah.
All right. You can see them right before the snap. They're talking.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want on a short yardage situation to say, hey, who you got? Who you got? You can see them literally talking to each other, and they end up letting a guy run straight through the A gap untouched. Yeah, when you see this on tape, first of all, suplex. Who is that over there? I love that play. I don't know how that didn't get called, but we'll take it. And I'll just show one more. I know you know what happened on this one. I'm just curious from your perspective. Yeah, that's tough because this was a touchdown. This was a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Looks like we're in a nice little slide protection again. Your guy doesn't come, which is fine. I feel like my center went the wrong way on this one.
Yeah, I think he did.
I feel like he did. What's going on as far as the calls right here, and how do we miss something that seems so evidently easy to pick up, especially when they're lined up in the A gap?
I'm trying to actually remember this one, but I think it literally came down to just sliding the wrong way. Me and Kudus in this picture were not in the slide, or we were in the slide, sorry. And, we thought we had that center help. And like you said, it's plays like this that make me think like, if we pick this up, we could possibly be beating Texas. And that just changes our whole season.
I don't know. You can't see the score right here. It's 13-7. Y'all are driving. This is a touchdown. And this is the fourth quarter. You go up against Texas. And you got to think the only thing that really killed the drive, because the defense was killing it that day.
Yeah,
I think there was one or two missed assignments on the defensive side of the ball that we got caught slipping. Outside of that, defense was holding it down. And this is the number 3 team in the country at the time. And so I know this is hard tape to watch, but when I see it, all I've seen so far are things that are fixable. It'd be different if y'all were just guys who couldn't keep up or just trash. That is not the case. I wouldn't waste my time putting all these graphics on the screen trying to explain this stuff, all right? The talent is there, and it's somewhat encouraging that these are just missed assignments in a year-one offense trying to learn the complexities of Coach Petrino and just building trust, all right? So you can see what happened on this play. Runs through free. Center goes the wrong way. Jaquindon was wide open. Would have been a nice little touchdown. But then you got plays against some of the best teams in the country. Look at this. I mean, completely on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, getting great drive off the ball, picking up a 3rd and 2. And then let's get to another play right here. This is back up against your own goal line. Now, this doesn't look like I'm looking at it like this. I see if you follow your fullback right here, unless I'm missing something. If he follows, was that Lassiter?
Yeah.
Look at this open up right here.
There's definitely a seam.
Yeah, definitely a seam. I mean, if it's goal line situations in SEC, first of all, it's not going to be pretty. But in my opinion, I felt like y'all did enough front side to get the job done here. I didn't look backside. You backside?
Yeah, I'm backside.
We'll move on. We'll move on. We ain't got to look at it.
Cut that clip out.
Yeah. We won't look at it. It's all good. And then you get to, let's see, another one right here. Another thing that I think will help out our cause is pre-snap recognition. And I'm curious about how much involvement do y'all have in this, okay? So if you look at the tape right now, it's man-to-man across the board. It's as evident can be. And then you're curious about, it looks like they're in zone. But if you take a look at the hashes are huge in college football. I don't know if y'all know in college football, they're much wider in college football than they are the NFL. So it's easier to get pre-snap recognitions based where the safeties are on or outside or inside the hash. And so when you got this guy inside the hash, he's most likely going to rotate to the middle of the field, which usually means it's man-to-man coverage. If that's the case, then this safety down here is going to be responsible for Isaac Tesla, which is a big indicator for the quarterback, like pressure is coming off the edge. If
Mhm.
this guy comes off the edge, then it allows all the defensive linemen to slant inside. Is that communication going on up front?
Yeah, so that's in this situation, this would be one where TG should check us into another play. So we have checks that go into blitzes and away from blitzes, and so we'd probably want to go away from this one. And so that's usually up to TG's call. Obviously, we should be having our eyes up in the right shot. The right side should see that the corner is capped and he's unlocking, and especially the stances with the D line, you can kind of see that they're kind of creeping in for that slant movement.
Yeah, and this is another one too. And like I said, opportunities to convert in a big way that allows them to slant. And you see that guy is that Braun,
Yep.
kind of has a bad aiming point. That's like the small, intricate details. If you know this stuff as an offensive lineman, it allows you to play that much quicker because you have to get to the point first. I mean, as soon as he was slow with that step, he was beat,
Yeah.
especially playing against Ole Miss, the talent that they had up front. But little small pre-snap recognitions are things that I think can give people advantage because imagine if he cuts this off. I mean, another beautiful seam. I mean, he's still running. I mean, so once again, it's all over the tape, Fernando, all over the tape. All these little things that are so fixable. And so I know that's once again kind of hard to watch. And I see these things as encouraging moments. And so watching tape, learning from tape, what would you say to people who say their biggest concern right now? Can the offensive line protect Taylen Green?
We will protect Taylen Green. I think that's all I got to really say. I've watched all the games from last year, and we're single plays away from beating teams, beating some of the top 10 teams. And just the way we've been working as an offensive line, just the brotherhood that we've actually created this year, it doesn't feel like we're teammates. It feels like we're actually family. We've been hanging out each and every weekend, making it a point because, in today's NIL age, we all live on our own. We all have our own things that we could do, but, we're making it a point to get together, be an offensive line, be a true brotherhood. And, that it doesn't just happen in the facilities. It happens off the field, and we've been pushing really hard. And we know what kind of backfield we have with our running backs and the quarterback that we have back there. And we're not going to let this opportunity slip from our hands, because at the end of the day, we know it comes down to us. And if we can protect and do what we do, Taylen will be a Heisman candidate, and we will win a lot of football games and put on for this great state of Arkansas.